Good evening, folks. We're going to call the Development Review Board reorganization meeting to order.
Recording in progress.
All members are present. First on the agenda, we'll entertain motions for chairman.
I'd like to nominate George.
I'll second that nomination.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I will entertain a motion for vice chair.
Make a motion to nominate Phil Carter
I'll
as vice
second
chair.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Nobody else wants to?
No.
All those in favor? Next on the agenda is election of clerk. Entertain a motion for clerk.
I'd like to do it.
Make a motion to nominate Julian Cole for that position.
I'll second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Next is for paper of record. Currently it's set at the Vermont Journal, second with the Rutland Herald.
I'll make a motion to keep it that way.
Second.
Okay, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next is for recording secretary.
I'd like to nominate Alicia.
Second that.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
You can't vote.
Yeah.
You're stuck.
Next is for time and day of our meeting, currently set at the second Monday of every month at 6 p.m. And our second option is the fourth Monday.
I'll make a motion to keep it the way it is currently.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next is adopt rules of procedure that were attached to your packets. Did everyone get a chance to read through those?
I have one thing on those, George.
Okay, go ahead, Phil.
On Article 2, 2.3 signature, it says, if the chair is unavailable, the director of planning and zoning will be the official signature of the board. That should be changed to the vice chair.
We'll make that change via writing on the draft copy here. Any other changes?
That's 2.3.
2.3 under signature.
Yeah, Article 2, 2.3.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion we accept it as corrected.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I make a motion that we adjourn from the reorganization meeting.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
With the gentleman next to Eric, please give me his name.
Keith Arlen.
Keith Garland, A-R-L-U-N-D,
Oh. And which are you here for, Keith?
American Legion.
Shell Station.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, folks. We're going to call to order the Development Review Board meeting for May 12th. Roll call, all members are present. Any changes to the agenda? Chair?
Not what I have here.
Okay, we got our minutes straight for a review for at the end. Okay. Item 3, we're going to open the recess public hearing for Shaw's Supermarket. So, anyone here to speak on behalf of Shaw's Supermarket?
Yeah, Nicholas Nitschke from Stockbridge Architect.
Okay, and if I remember correct, Nicholas, you were previously sworn in?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Want to provide us an update?
Apologies.
Oh, go ahead, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just gonna apologize, my camera's not working for some reason, but I'm here.
That's okay. If we did receive some documentation earlier today, so if you just want to walk us through the documentation that was provided and an update for Shaw's and what we are still waiting for to receive.
Sure, so what I sent earlier is the completed FEMA dry floodproofing certificate document. It's been filled out and stamped by myself, my structural engineer, and the civil engineer. The only thing that's left is the accompanying documents that most of them have been submitted in draft form. And now they're being revised to make sure they match the actual built conditions in case anything, was adjusted or whatever during construction. We're gonna update those. They include photographs of the installed floodproofing, the flood emergency operations plan, the inspection and maintenance plan, and the building owner acknowledgement letter. Those are the things that will be coming.
Okay. What is the expected timeline on those?
I'm shooting for the end of this week or middle of next week to
Okay.
have that all ready.
Any questions from the board?
Just when you have that, could you get it to the planning office as soon as you get it?
Sure.
So we have it on file.
Anything else from the board on what they provided today? Does the board wish to wait till next? If that's the only thing we're waiting for is just the finalized copies? What are our thoughts?
I would just think that once that information gets into the planning office, it's a done deal.
So looking at the calendar, you were saying 2 weeks you were looking at?
End of the week or the first of next week.
First of
he
next
said.
week? So do you think if we give you 2 weeks to give that documentation in, that will give you enough time as a little bit of a buffer?
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great.
So what would that date be, Jared?
The 26th.
So the 26th, does that work for you?
Yep.
Okay. So I make a motion that we close this hearing.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
The 26th is Memorial Day, I believe.
Okay.
Good call.
So.
Sorry, guys.
No. Good catch. Thank you. This is
So
many hands make light
27th.
work. So 27th. Okay.
Tuesday.
Okay. So that'll be. I make a motion that we will close this hearing on the 27th. That will allow the additional documentation to be submitted that was previously outlined.
I'll second.
Okay. Discussion. Do you have any other questions for us?
I do not.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Appreciate all your hard work.
No problem. Thank you.
I got one.
2 gentlemen just came in. May I have your names, please?
I will start. Joe Carl.
Jeez. Joe, what are you here for?
As a citizen,
Okay, and
I want to give you my card.
Oh.
Hussein Sevinchka with GPI.
thank you
Instead of
so much.
spelling I.
That was very kind to an old lady.
Representing the Ludlow Shell.
Okay, next on the agenda, we're going to open a new public hearing. Go ahead, Jared.
This is application number 094-95-PUD, amendment number 5, and 352-12-Act 250, amendment number 1. The applicant is Ted Reeves, of Reeves Consulting, and the property owners are Tim and Ellen Meckel, if I said that properly. The application is a request to install a platform tennis court set on concrete and wood column foundation. This project is located in the Mountain Recreation District. The hearing date is today, May 12th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Public postings were at the town clerk's office, town hall bulletin boards, and town website. On April 16th, 2025, and the post office agenda was posted on May 6th, 2025. The newspaper warnings were in the Vermont Journal on 4/23, April 23rd, and the property abutting owners were notified on April 23rd, 2025.
Thank you, Jared. I see we got Ted. Is there anyone else who's here to speak on behalf?
The client, Mr. Meckel.
Okay, so I'll administer the oath to both of you. Do you solemnly swear that the evidence that you shall give relative to the matter now under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury? I do.
I do.
I do.
How about you tell us about the project?
Well, Jared summarized a lot of it. It's a 30 by 60 platform tennis court that they're going to put on their property at 11 Grouse Lane, which is the Solitude Development up on Okemo. And we've submitted the application. There's a site plan in there that shows where the platform tennis court would be located. There's going to be about a 30-foot long, 4-foot wide walk from the house to the platform tennis court. It is an Act 250 property, so we provided a local Act 250 review summary. And there's a couple of other sheets that we included for the foundation plan, the elevation and deck painting plan, and some sections, which shows things like where the netting goes and some lights and that sort of thing.
Questions from the board?
We did do a site review up there today,
Yep.
so we could kind of like
Yep.
get familiar with where it was.
Yeah. You didn't say it was downhill.
Side hill.
Ted, this is gonna be heated?
Yeah, there's a propane heating system that heats under the platform to melt snow and ice off.
So when it's heated and that snow and ice melt, is it contained or?
Just goes to the ground.
Just goes to the ground?
Yeah.
You, in the documentation we got, they're gonna have it lit up?
Yes, there'll be lights on it.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so there's 6 lights proposed. They're down lighting, and there's a shield on them. So they're lighting the court, and they're on a 20-foot high post. And I didn't have it at the time, but I got it today as a lighting cut sheet, and I'm happy to give that to you if you want to see it.
We won't ever say no.
Did you make one for me?
There's 7 copies in there. Or there should be anyway.
There's a loose paper at the bottom, I think.
Yeah, that's,
What's the agenda?
yeah, you have that anyway.
I think I have one.
Yeah, well, it's got a piece of paper.
We should get one.
Right.
Jeez, I'm getting it.
Are the lights gonna be on all the time or only during operations?
Only when they're public.
So the abutters have been notified. Jared, anything from abutters? Any
I have not heard
comments?
anything from any abutters.
Have you, Ted?
No, sir.
Yeah, I have not.
That's Mr. Meckel.
Oh, okay,
He's the owner.
okay. I'm just thinking, once the lights come on, you might. But this is their opportunity.
Yeah.
Correct.
Let me get that on the record.
It's pretty close to that other house, but
Yeah, but we set it inside the setbacks, so it's within the building envelope on the property.
yeah, I see that.
Oh, there's it on there.
Shall I continue?
Sure, go ahead. You're on a roll.
The Ludlow Fire Department letter, have you seen?
Yes.
Yeah. Any issues or questions?
Well, only that I've raised a question about the fire apparatus fund fee. I've asked the town manager and the planning office and the chief about how it's paid, when it's paid, where it's derived, where it's codified, and I haven't received an answer on that yet.
So in item number 1, he just references approved construction electrical plumbing permit shall be obtained by the Vermont Division of Fire Safety prior to any work.
Yeah, we can put in a construction application.
And what else here? All noted conditions shall be met and the project construction and occupancy shall be compliant with the stated adopted edition of NFPA 1 and FPA 101 and the Vermont Fire and Building Safety Code.
So building safety code doesn't necessarily apply to this because it's an outdoor recreation facility, and NFPA 1 is the life safety code, so we'll comply with those.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board? So just for, on the record, I'm going to run through the local Act 250 review questions with you, if that's okay. I know you filled out the application, but this makes it easier when we go back, write decisions, to have something in the minutes. So question A, will not cause an unreasonable burden on the ability of the municipality to provide educational services?
Correct.
Will not cause an unreasonable burden on the ability of the municipality to provide municipal or governmental services?
Also correct. We've gone out with ability to serve letters to all of the departments in town.
Is in conformance with the municipal plan as adopted in accordance with the act?
Yes, so we went through the municipal plan, the zoning rules, and, there's nothing that I saw as a flag that we're outside of the intent of those rules or the spirit of that language.
Other questions from the board? Just one more comment for the record. We did receive an index of documents labeled 1 through 40 that all board members did receive for the evaluation prior to the hearing. And you'll stamp one of these, Jared, put in number 41. I make a motion that we close this hearing.
I'll second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, Ted. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody. Nice to see you all.
Good to see you. Next on the agenda, we're going to open a new public hearing. Go ahead, Jared.
This is application number 040-92-CU, amendment number 1, and 499-25-Act 250, also known with the state as number 2S1035. The applicant is Adam Carl. Property owner is George E. Benson Jr. This application is to request a change of use from automotive sales and service to a large format print shop and retail art gallery. This project is located in the Village Residential Commercial District. Hearing date is today, May 12, 2025, 6 p.m. Public postings were at the town clerk's office, town hall bulletin boards, and town website on April 16th. Agenda was posted at the post office on May 6th, and the warnings went out in the newspaper record, the Vermont Journal, for the April 23rd edition, 2025, and the abutting property owners were notified on the same day, April 23rd, 2025.
Thanks, Jared. We did receive an index of documents numbered 1 through 25 from the Planning and Zoning Office for review to all members of the board prior to this meeting. Those who are here to speak to this hearing, I do have to swear you in, so you just want to raise your hand so I make sure. Okay. If you got anyone on Zoom that wants.
I do
need to
pass these out.
Okay. Do you solemnly swear that the evidence you shall give relative to the matter now under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under pains and penalties of perjury? I do.
And I do. Okay. Okay, this is the building application that kind of was the horse after the cart. This is just for the record.
Oh, okay. But whoever wants to tell us about the project.
Sure. Okay. My name is Adam Carl. Over the past few months, I've been working on developing a business plan to open a new sign shop, large format print shop and retail art gallery. When I was looking around town at the different spaces that I might be able to do something like this in, the former Benson Chevrolet building was stuck out to me for a variety of reasons. One, its roadside exposure is great, and two, the internal layout of the building is perfectly suitable for what I'm looking to do without having to make any modifications to this historic building. So I'm just going to read my little excerpt from the packet I submitted. The goal of this new business endeavor is to provide the Ludlow community, Ludlow businesses surrounding towns, and our visitors with an in-town option for large format digital printing, with the goal to create aesthetically pleasing vehicle graphics, affordable and reusable event banners, attractive business signage, large format artist prints, and more. I've developed a business plan for a minimally invasive, low impact approach to step into an existing, underutilized historic structure to bring it back to life. With this new business, I have no plans to perform any changes or modifications to the interior or the exterior of this piece of Ludlow history. The current interior layout is perfectly suitable for the sign shop and gallery I plan to open. I do hope that my efforts to occupy and utilize this space will eventually allow for a source of sustainable revenue to help restore and maintain this beautiful old building. Additionally, I plan to make this business available to students looking for internships to learn the trade and develop their technical skills by using current design principles and programs.
Questions from the board?
I'll let you start.
No, go ahead, Phil. You're ready to dive.
I'll let those guys start.
If you're ready to dive in, go
No,
ahead.
I'll let those guys start.
I remember questions from the other board members.
We received all the ability to serve letters and got them all from the fire department and all the ambulance. And
You're okay with all those conditions that they laid for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is large format signs, but you're gonna be car wrapping as well, or is that what the primary is, or what is that?
Yeah, I'll have the ability to wrap vehicles, but I don't expect a whole lot of full vehicle wraps. It'll be primarily vehicle graphics, door lettering, things of that nature.
You mentioned an art gallery, or is that a side? What's that?
So to tie that into the large format printing, I will have the ability to do large format artist prints. So you can do photographs that are enlarged and stretched over canvases. And I do plan to have a bunch of those pre-printed up so people can come in and select different art pieces, whether they're looking to do it for their decorating their business or their home, or if they have a photograph that they want to have done themselves, I would be able to do that as well.
Cool. Parking. Can you talk, the traffic flow, parking? I see when on the site visit, there's vehicles parked around the building tonight. Where would I park if I pull in?
Sure. So I would plan that there'd be 4 spaces directly on the entry side of the building. And then I would be looking to utilize 2 more spaces around the corner as well. The hope was that we'd be able to retain the ability to have vehicles for the dealership on the lot as well. I'm only looking to change the use for the space that I'm looking to occupy. I didn't explicitly state that in here, but I did want to put it on as kind of a differentiation of the existing space that's going to remain and then just the space that I'm looking to occupy for the change.
So you'll have 4 committed spaces to your business?
I would say
6,
4 to
he
6.
said.
6, so.
He said 4 in
you
front,
said
2
4
on
in
the
front here,
side.
2 on the side.
2 in here.
6.
Yep.
Because we measure it by square footage of the business, how many spaces you need. 6 is good.
Yeah, wait,
That's a good number. Handicap, anything on that? Thoughts on handicap access or?
So currently, the entryway is not ADA accessible. I do have a plan with redoing the front steps to put in a lift so that it does allow people with impairments or, needing a wheelchair to be able to enter the space.
Can we talk briefly, just the police letter? There's a number 3 in that letter. Chief means by this. So it says the parking plan shows ample spaces to support this project. Existing parking should hold 20 vehicles. It says. What is it referring to?
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if he's referring to the whole building.
The whole building he's probably referring to.
That's weird how this is.
They have parking on both sides of the building and in back.
In my application, I believe I outlined that there were 20 spaces currently existing, 20 more spaces existing, but I'm only looking to utilize 4 to 6.
How is this, losing parking spaces, is this gonna affect your operations, George?
No, but I would like to touch on, we're asking for I guess a change of use, but I don't want to lose the ability to park vehicles over there for sale. We still do have one lift that we actively use, which is beside a space that he's renting, so we will still be, potentially repairing cars and or having vehicles for display.
When I look at the site plan, it looks like let's just call it the front of the building, where your offices were, is where you'll be utilizing.
Yeah, those
It does show the back of the building where you have your bays still remaining with you, is what I see here. So I think that's pretty well spelled out.
Yeah, and he's still got one bay in the front.
We talked about hours of operation. What are your thoughts on hours of operation? I'll just tell you this before you start saying anything, is that this is your one chance. If you change it, if you were to say you're gonna be 24 hours a day, then you'd have the opportunity to do so many different things. But if you were gonna be specific to 12 to 5, then you're held to that. If it's anything outside of that, you'll have to come back in front of us. So if you're saying it's 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and it happens to be less hours than that, it's okay. But if it's more hours than that, you have to come back in front of us. So my suggestion is take that for what it's worth.
Is this open to the public hours or hours in which I'm able to occupy the space to do work?
This would be.
You don't have to be open
You don't
at
have to be
hours you
open.
say. If you say you're open from 8 in the morning till 8 at night, you don't have to be there. But you can be there.
Gotcha.
So think about it as being that everything's sent out to the abutters, right? And in your business plan, which may not apply to you, you said, I plan on having someone work all through the night, right? Not sure how much noise doing these prints makes, but that might be a consideration. And so if that would be something that is raised as part of the change of use.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. So that's why everyone who comes in for a change of use like this gets asked the exact same question. And so we put it to you what you would like.
So I would like to be able to retain the ability to work in there at any hour of the day, so I'm gonna say 24 hours a day. Because there could be a project that I get where I'm working through the night or until 2 in the morning. But as a reassurance, there is no excessive noise created through the printing process or anything like that, or throughout the finishing process as well.
rock and roll music while you're doing this?
I'll keep it low.
Can you just touch a little bit, we didn't really go over it there, but will there be any more lighting on the building than there is now?
No.
There's a light
No
on
plan
there.
for that anymore. Additional exterior.
We have some evidence, I'm not even sure who this is from Anna Borokowski.
What page you guys on?
14.
14.
And she's addressing hazardous waste at the site. And just for the record, it's not identifying anything, and it says here, if you will not generate hazardous waste at your business, then there are no actions that the hazardous materials program requires you to take at this time. Do you produce hazardous waste?
No, I will not be producing any hazardous
It
waste.
said the only issue that was there was a burning of used fuel oil, but I think it looks like that's been cleaned up.
That's correct.
Makes sense?
It does.
That's just stuff, so if you decide to have hazardous waste, she's gonna be after you.
I'll check in.
Did you get a copy of the Act 250 permit that governs the property?
I did not.
That's something you can give him. This is referenced as page 16 from Stephanie Guile. An Act 250 permit or permit amendment is not required as long as your business operations adhere to the existing Act 250 permit conditions. I cannot easily tell you from our electronic files which Act 250 permit is associated with this particular building, but it's owner's responsibility to provide you with a copy of the Act 250 permit. If you don't propose any changes to the property, and this project is simply a change from one commercial use to a relatively similar commercial use, an Act 250 permit is not required as long as the existing Act 250 permit conditions are fully followed. That makes sense? Can get you a copy of that.
So I don't know, there was never an Act 250 permit for that building, ever.
Okay.
Until we built a new dealership.
So you built a new dealership?
And then I've been told that because I'm the same owner, that's,
Okay.
would fall under that. So I don't
Okay.
believe that parcel
Okay.
falls.
Okay, I'm just reading what you wrote,
Yeah.
so that's.
So what do I do there?
Sorry, go ahead.
We can do some research on it
Yeah.
and make sure that there's no Act 250 permit on that particular parcel.
Okay. Sounds good. Other questions from the board?
When you built a new building, you had Act 250.
Oh, yeah.
Did any of that reflect across the street?
No, everything was for 25 Pond Street is where we were located currently.
Because you have a connection of business across the street, so I was
Right.
just wondering, because you're still doing business across the street, you know, if that Act 250 permit addressed anything.
Not that I'm aware of, it wasn't.
Okay. Well, Rose will take a
I
look.
was just saying,
Yeah.
we can do it for us.
Other questions from the board?
You talked about the fire letter.
Yep, they're aware of the conditions. Anything else?
I'll make a motion to close the hearing.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Next on the agenda, we're gonna open a new public hearing. Go ahead, Jared.
This is application number 128-98-PUD, amendment number 69, and 496-23-Act 250, amendment number 1. The applicant is Joshua Sapp of TPW. Property owner is Trailside Community Association. The application is to replace the Trailside Community Pool. This project is located in the Mountain Recreation District. Hearing date is today, May 12, 2025, 6 p.m. Public postings were at the town clerk's office, town hall bulletin boards, and town website on April 16, 2025. The agenda was posted at the post office on May 6, 2025, and in the newspaper of record of the Vermont Journal on April 23, 2025. The abutting property owners were notified on April 23, 2025.
Thank you very much, Jared. We did receive index of documents 1 through 58 for the board's review prior to the meeting. Those who are here to speak to this hearing, just want to raise your hand. Okay, so we got one. Do you solemnly swear that the evidence you shall give relative to the matter now under consideration shall be the whole truth, nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury? I do.
I do.
Okay, how about you tell us about your property?
So we're basically just replacing the existing pool that was on Okemo Trailside Association's property. It was I can't really say the shape of the pool because it was a little awkward, but we're replacing it with a 30 by 50 rectangular shaped pool, 3 to 6 feet deep, in the same exact location as the old pool. So very straightforward. Nothing adding to the pool house or with the heater in it. No bathrooms, no shower stalls, no nothing. It's all just a brand new pool being put in place.
What's it made of?
Huh?
What's it made of? Cement?
Gunite. So it's like concrete, and then it's sprayed to last, and it's got so and then you coat it every couple of years, you treat it, and the existing one was the same, and it's old, so it was.
Did it crack?
It was starting to crack. The filters were starting to deteriorate. The jets, etc., were starting to deteriorate. So it just got to a point where fixing was not really necessary anymore. It's time to start fresh. So that was the decision from the association. We put it out to them as the owners to pick what they wanted to do. So we looked at all options for them. So.
Will the new pool be heated?
Yes.
Okay, so the old pool wasn't, right?
Nope, it was.
It was, okay.
Yep. And the same heater is existing. It's staying right there. Yep.
When you get it done, how are you gonna fill it?
From the same water supply that we have different supply lines that go there from the system.
I thought you guys were short of water up there.
We're not short of water, that's for sure. I can tell you that.
Do you have a copy of the letter from the fire department?
There's a little brook running along
Which side?
The parking
In front of
lot.
the parking
Yep,
lot side.
that's
Do you draw
outside of
from-
the 50 feet.
Do you draw from that?
Nope. There is a spigot actually that comes under that from the pump house. That is actually underneath that brook and everything near the tennis court that we have. There's also a spigot on the back side of the pool house that goes down to the shop we have. So there's multiple supply lines that were already there.
Is it a good time to bring up the fire weather or not?
Sure, go ahead. You got questions?
Go for it.
Just, if you can address number
Sure.
3, please.
Yeah, what's number 3?
Provide a complete status report of the fire pond, hydrant system, and potable water system projects at Trailside. This report shall include the maintenance and operation of the potable water system, maintenance of the fire pond, and connected hydrants. Status of the hydrant system extension to include if the project is funded and the ability to meet the previously agreed upon plan of compliance. Followed by 4, if progress is not shown, then he cannot sign off on this project.
Yep, so we've provided you guys with that documentation from the engineering company MSK. There was 262 pages for each one of you of the design process. We are already locked in contract with M&M Excavating to move forward. We have the design, we have the Act 250 permit already provided as well, which I sent in as to you guys for approval to move forward. The plan is to start July, be done in before November 1-ish time, sometime in November, to fall in line with the MOU that was agreed upon with the town.
Is it possible that the chief hasn't seen that?
No, I sent it to him.
Oh, okay.
I believe his concern was that he hadn't heard an update at the time.
And this was March, this letter, so it's.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it
sometime
was,
since then.
so,
I noticed the date, it was a little bit.
he wanted to make sure that project, which
Of course.
has direct life safety implications.
Of course,
you know,
yeah.
that-
And we're happy moving forward, and the association's happy to move forward with it. Obviously, it's a process, right? It's a big project.
Yeah.
So we've provided everything that we could at this time to get it rolling, and we're ready to get going in July. And then keep the maintenance of it moving forward afterwards, so.
So this topic of discussion was also slated for other business.
I saw that. He put it
Yeah,
up.
so
I haven't
we
gone
jump,
back.
Gone.
no, we can talk about that when it comes to the MSK engineering file, but I mean, this is valid
But it
under,
was part of it.
is this, you know, the answer
It all ties
is yes, yeah.
It does all tie together,
Yeah.
so.
Just continuing to touch on the conditions in the firing letter. Number 1, approved construction, electrical and plumbing permits shall be obtained by Division Fire Safety prior to any work. All noted conditions shall be met and the project construction occupancy shall be compliant with the stated above NFPA 1 and NFPA 101 and Vermont Fire and Building Safety Codes. Rough in and final electrical, plumbing, and rebar inspection shall be completed by Division of Fire and Safety. And that is it. for
He
those.
doesn't require a 35-cent.
No. he doesn't.
And we had all letters from electrical, plumbing, the plumbing permit was there, and state electrical was there. All the permits that we were required to get or got letters from, ambulance, et cetera, should be all attached.
Looking at the ambulance letter, not a requirement, but a suggestion from their point about having an AED on site. That was their recommendation.
Yeah.
Is that something you think you might do or not?
It's something that we have to bring to the association. It's not a town pool. It's not. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no,
So it is something that we bring to their attention and make their, it's their decision, but something we definitely bring up to them.
Okay. Other questions from the board?
Is there any additional lighting?
No, there was existing lighting there. We are gonna put, obviously, the same lighting back. There is gonna be some extra electrical work. We're looking at putting a automatic cover on the new pool. But it doesn't change, like they don't have to run anything more and it doesn't affect the amount of power they're using from the site.
Is it open all night, the pool?
It is typically it's been open all night. It's not year round though.
Yeah.
We do close it down. It's Memorial Day to Labor Day. It's typically what we use it. So we're considering looking at closing it at night with the automatic cover, etc. But it is something we have to at this time not changing anything from the existing.
Yeah.
Right? More it would benefit us from in the winter time. was the summertime.
Is the parking area lit?
Parking area is lit. Yep.
Anything else from the board?
I'll make a motion to close the hearing.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion?
Yeah, on the index, just for the record, you said 1 through 58. Did you say pages 8 through 18 have been removed?
No, I did not, but that's,
Okay.
that's part of the, it's on the index. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Do you need me for the extra file right now, or-
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to
We'll
figure out
fire
if I
those
wanted to-
questions up.
If I wanted to stay or not.
Go get a
If you needed me, okay, alright, perfect. No, I think it's, yeah.
What's that? Net going
Oh, yeah.
for the show.
Is this an updated index, Garrett?
Yes.
Okay.
In one of the packets that I gave
Yep.
you.
Yeah, I just wanted to double check, make sure I was gonna read from the right one. Otherwise Doug will yell at me.
Yeah, because the police record wasn't in the other one. No, I won't yell at you.
It's okay if you do.
Correct.
Just tell you Monday's Memorial Day.
Next, we're gonna open a new public hearing. Go ahead, Jared.
This is application number 154-86/87-CU, amendment number 3, and 481-20-FHR, amendment number 2. The applicant is Greenman Pedersen Incorporated, property owner is Melinda Richards Taggart Trust, and the application is a request for a flood hazard review and to amend a conditional use permit for the following. 1, to construct a new retail motor fuel canopy with 2 dispensing islands, making up 4 fueling locations in the footprint of the auto parts store / repair garage, which was approved for removal in a conditional use permit number 154-86/87-CU, amendment number 2. 2, to provide 6 additional parking spaces for a total of 14, including 1 accessible parking space adjacent to an ADA compliant ramp to the building sidewalk. 3, to relocate 2 8 cubic yard dumpsters to a concrete pad screened with a 6-foot-high chain link fence with privacy slats suspended 1 foot above the concrete pad as requested by the district floodplain manager. This project is located in the Village Residential Commercial District. Hearing date is today, May 12th, 2025, 6 p.m. Public postings were at the town clerk's office, town hall bulletin board, and town website on April 16th, 2025. Agenda was posted at the post office on May 6th, 2025, and in the newspaper record in the Vermont Journal on April 23rd, 2025. The abutting property owners were notified on April 25th, 2025.
Thank you very much, Jared. We did receive an index of documents 1 through 161 prior to the meeting for review by the Development Review Board. Who is here to speak to this hearing and this hearing alone?
Good evening. For the record, Hussein Sivinch. Oh,
Yeah, so before we start talking, we gotta swear people in, since we're on the record, PRB. So I got 1, 2, 3, okay. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay. Do you solemnly swear that the evidence you shall give relative to the matter now under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury? I do. Okay. Are you here to tell us about the project?
yes. Good evening. For the record, Hussein Sivinch with Greenman Pedersen Inc., Salem, New Hampshire. As you guys are all probably familiar with this project, we were in front of this board back in September of '24 to present replacement of the underground storage tanks, remodeling of the building, and some parking, demolition of the existing Napa Auto Parts building and some parking improvements in this area. Since then, my client has determined that he would like to proceed with, instead of the parking lot only, he would like to proceed with an overhead canopy that would provide fueling for 2 additional dispensers in this area for 4 fueling vehicles, in addition to the rest of the improvements that were slated as discussed back in September of last year. As you're all aware, there's site construction underway. They have replaced the underground storage tanks and replaced this dispenser apron. The existing overhead canopy remains intact. They have started remodeling the interior of the building. So we're in front of the board to get an approval for the installation of this new canopy. The trash enclosure has also been relocated. It was previously in this general area. Relocated in this area. At the last DRB meeting, it was suggested that the dumpster pad be elevated to a foot above the floodplain elevation. So we felt that instead of mounting this area to bring it up and having like a big pump in the middle of the site, we pulled that closer to the building to kind of match the elevation here, which is above the floodplain elevation, and then kind of just, slope back down to existing grades around the site. We are required to have 12 parking spaces. We're proposing 14 with this layout. The canopy is, again, in this area. We did have a site visit earlier this afternoon. We went over that with most of the board members. And again, we're under construction, so we're looking to see if the board would, grant this approval. The client did discuss this with the fire department over the last month, and I believe they are on board. We do have a letter from them. There was a letter discussed that came in today. I did not see that letter, and we do not have a response that I'm aware of from the floodplain director, Kyle. Other than that, I can answer any questions that you might have.
Where are the 14 parking spaces?
There's 7 in front, 2 parallel parking spaces back here, and then 6 back here.
Well, that only shows 3 cars there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, the cars?
Oh, yes,
That's just depicted just to show cars.
Other questions from the board members?
I guess just, it's a very minor thing, but in the original permit, there was the concrete sidewalk to be installed in the front. I know it doesn't show on that plan, but I know we talked about it on the site.
I did read through the original, the conditions. I didn't see that.
Pages up.
Can you see, I can give this to you?
Is it on that?
It's on the permit conditions. I just wanted to know, because
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
it conforms to the other.
Yeah,
ones, but I
that's
just
fine.
wanted-
Walking here from the site, we did see most of the other
Julie, can you read that into the record?
developments.
Yes, if it's possible, on the original permit conditions, so what's the date on this?
Not sure, I don't believe this is the same version. There it is.
February 21st, 2024. Number 3, it says permit conditions, concrete sidewalks shall be installed and curbed consistent with the sidewalk presently leading to and from the applicant's property.
Okay, that's not a problem.
It just
So we would update this plan to reflect that. And it would match the other aprons that you have kind of along Main
It
Street.
just looks nice.
So, being that your plans changed from the previous permit a little bit, so we see some of the, what looks depicted as the riprap buffer there, that hasn't been planted yet. That's still in work on the
That's
previous.
still in
Okay, so
play.
can you walk us through if there's any changes to that?
There have been no changes to that.
Okay.
So this is all as you agreed upon at the previous. The only changes, again, there was some head-on parking here. It was a double row of parking perpendicular to the building and perpendicular to this lot line. That's been removed. As I indicated, the trash enclosure was in this area. That's been relocated to this portion. Obviously, the canopy has been added. And some of the parking out front was modified. Initially, under the previous, it was just going to be remained and restriped as it was. And we felt that some of these parking spaces that were kind of pulling out into this had to be modified to be angular. So they would be angular parking spaces in front of the building. Just two of those. And the handicap accessible route was relocated here. Previously, I believe the existing sidewalk was going to remain. We have to put in a handicap accessible ramp for the new handicap space here along the front of the site, front of the building.
So let's go over to serve letters. So we did, the one we received today was from Chief Warple. So we'll just run through his conditions for on the record. This project will produce additional traffic. It will place a burden on the roadway. 2, this project will require additional traffic control measures. During the winter traffic hours, there shall be no fuel or large deliveries made to this location. 3, parking plans show ample spaces to support this project. Its existing project should hold 12 vehicles. 4, alarm system not mandated, but I would strongly suggest one, and register and all alarms with the Ludlow Police Department. 5, this project in and of itself may place an adverse impact on the Ludlow Police Department. However, combined with all other buildings in the town of Ludlow, the department's ability to serve the town may be diminished. And it is approved with those conditions. Have any questions on any of those or comments?
Additional traffic, we're basically trying to service customers that are coming to the site a little bit more efficiently. I'm not sure if it would, there are other gas stations along the street. I'm not sure how much additional traffic that would produce. If the existing Napa building were in place, I think that would produce traffic as well. We're kind of getting rid of that and basically just making this more efficient for fueling vehicles. During winter traffic hours, there shall be no fuel or large deliveries made to this location. Not having fuel to a station during the winter months would be difficult. So it's been an operation for over 30 years.
I've been operating 19 years. I never had.
Excuse me, I have your name, please.
My name is Attaullah.
Okay.
Oh, so just as a clarification, this is not saying none, it's saying
Just
during like peak hours is what this, during winter traffic hours.
What is the peak hours are for the schedule? What's the chief's things at the peak hours?
Well, it'd probably be like 4 to 6
4 to
or something
6
like
usually
that,
is-
and then in the morning.
What he said.
So usually there's an AM peak hour.
Yeah.
PM peak
And-
hour,
and-
and
and
weekdays
just when they
there's
have,
a
like, the traffic
weekday-
control.
weekday
I mean, I
traffic.
guess that's, being it's ambiguous in this.
Okay.
The delivery hours can be set up according to the chief. If it is
Okay.
peak hour, it can be addressed to the transportation. It don't come at that hour. That's not a big deal. But
It's too
previously,
busy.
last 19
So it would be
years,
off peak.
Yeah.
even whatever in the morning hour, we can change the delivery hours. That's not an issue.
It doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
No, I just wanted to make sure, 'cause it sounded like you were saying that, we were saying no.
Oh, no, I didn't.
That's not what was being said.
I
So,
misunderstood what we-
you know, it's-
And no fuel in winter.
Traffic hours.
They can't deliver to you at all. None.
That is what it sounds like.
It does sound like that. no?
So I, yeah,
Like the winter traffic peak hours.
yeah,
is-
so
is
we can
what?
get
Okay.
clarification
Yes.
on that.
Yeah, we should get clarification. That's kind of confusing.
If I can mention those hours, we can accommodate.
Yeah, so off peak hours is
Yeah.
what you would
Yeah.
typically
Yeah.
have. You wouldn't want to conflict with vehicular traffic to the site as well. The existing parking should hold 12 vehicles. Again, we have 14. I'm not sure which 2 vehicles, we would want to get rid of, but
I think he's fine.
Well,
with
he didn't
14.
say you had to
Yeah.
have
I
12,
think
he
I
said
think
you
he's just
should
talking
have.
about the minimum.
At
It
least
says it
12.
should hold 12 vehicles.
Yeah.
He's new.
It is new, it's just those little wording.
Then going on to the fire letter. One, approved construction, electrical and plumbing permits shall be obtained by the Division of Fire Safety. Prior to any work, all noted conditions shall be met, and the project construction and occupancy shall be compliant with the stated adoption condition of NFPA 1, NFPA 101, and the Vermont Fire and Building Safety Code. 2, rough-in and final electrical, plumbing, and rebar inspections shall be completed by the Division of Fire and Safety. 3, grading shall be sloped to prevent any run-off fuel going towards the neighboring buildings, and any pumps shall have canopies with full suppression systems. 4, an AED will be available for use within the sales area. So if you just want to walk us through how you're gonna, how you address those, that'd be great.
So again, this is a grading plan that's part of your set, sheet 5 of 8. So because of that comment, keeping flow from going on to the adjacent American Legion building, right now it currently does go on to that property a little bit, slightly in this area. So to totally eliminate that, we held the grades at the property line, along the property line. We have our grades of our proposed dispenser apron. We created in the pavement kind of a low point, not too drastic, but just graded everything to a low point. And we're adding 2 catch basins on the property to contain anything, any stormwater in this area coming into this. And then those are being tied into this existing drain line through 2 doghouse manholes right over the existing drain line. So the 2 units that we're adding are first defense units. They're hydrodynamic separators. So if there is, we took a little step to kind of help. If there is a spill of any sort of fuel, the hydrodynamic separator can hold a certain volume of hydrocarbons, so fuel. So just that added safety measures, I guess, to the station. Everything here is grading in this area. As you know, everything kind of grades back to the Black River. So we kind of held these grades, brought everything back down, and we're kind of isolating anything on our property, any stormwater, into that hydrodynamic separator. Probably are like storm scepters. It's that type of similar treatment onto that, into these 2 catch basins. So I think that would, address his concern of not letting any flow go into this property, but we wanted to actually make this. Previously, we had like some sort of riprap apron back there, but that was going to be treatment to that. It was just kind of slowing the stormwater down. We kind of regraded this area to bring that into a hydrodynamic separator.
So are they hold a spill, or they just direct a spill?
So it's like a standard catch basin, right, with a sump. That sump can hold a certain amount of volume. Again, if it's up to 100 gallons, each unit can hold up to, I believe, 100 or 150 gallons. But there is some sort of capacity to hold spill. Alternatively, right now, everything was just sheet flowing into the street and into to the back of the site.
So I'm just a little confused on it. I'm reading through it here. If it rains, doesn't the rain fill it up?
The rain will go in there, yep.
And do they have to be emptied? I mean, where does this stuff go? Does it essentially
The
go to
rain
river?
would just go through the hydrocarbons flow, so they would not go through the system.
So the system catches hydrocarbons, but not
If there is a
rain?
spill, right. It would catch everything.
I don't understand.
It bypasses.
I'm missing something here?
I don't know what he's saying is, how does this system
Water
work?
flies through, but it doesn't.
Water goes in there,
Water goes
hydrocarbons
in.
in there, how does it
It's like
go
a
out of that
swirling-
system?
There's like a swirling motion, right?
Yeah.
Sediment, everything settles down to the bottom of the sump. Hydrocarbons can float, gasoline. The water would then get through, if there's a minor spill of up to 100 gallons, that would be contained within that system.
Where would the water go to? Where does the water go to?
Standard water would go back into this drain manhole that we're creating, into the drain line that's currently there.
Going in the river.
Going into the river.
Well, you're not
Are
allowed
these-
to do that, are you?
Well, right now, if there was a spill right now, it would go straight into the river. There's no containment whatsoever.
So are these things pumped out on a?
They would have to be maintained, correct?
Okay, let's
To
talk
get rid of
about
the sediment.
what's the maintenance, what's the program, who does it, how often?
I believe we submitted a operation, I didn't bring that with me, but there should be some sort of,
Yeah, and I have an operation management plan here.
So under maintenance, start on page 26.
Oh, I was on, I'm on page 15.
15? Look, I was the, okay. So it's on 15 for.
Why?
yeah, okay. I got it right in the office. I had a 2.5-hour drive and I was rushing out.
Well, I guess, this plan is all written out here, but how does it actually get to you? And are you aware of it? Are you fully ready to roll on this?
On this plan, yes. I did not have, did not read that plan yet, but that's previously the way I maintained, that I can explain how I maintain, but definitely, there's companies, if as soon as spill happens, there's 2-3 companies, we call them, usually they come and handle them. If the gas goes on, it's definitely fire department, start from the fire department and local. And then, absolutely, there's a couple of companies we have, and every cashier knows who to call if it's a gas come out the pumps and stuff like that. But this system, I have not used it before.
Yeah.
This is new.
That's
for
a new
you.
system.
Yeah.
So on page 15,
Yeah.
sorry, on page 15, there's a documentation requirements. Right in the middle, inspection and maintenance procedures, driveway parking lot sweeping is recommended. Hydrodynamic separators, initial maintenance can be performed twice a year for the first year after the unit is online and operational. A vac truck would come in, I think that's part of the hydrodynamic separator literature as well. A vac truck would come in and vacuum out any sediment that's in there.
Seems like just like a grease trap kind of thing.
It's like an oil water separator.
Yeah.
What's that?
And it has oil capacity of 125 gallons. Yep. Sorry, I'm not prepared, but yeah, there is a maintenance. This is a unit that's used at a lot of gas stations. Without it, if I can remove it, then there would be nothing preventing a spill from going into the river.
When he says page 15, it's R26, isn't it?
No. So 15 outlines all the maintenance procedures for the entire project. Starting on 26, it talks about the first defense operation and the maintenance specifically starting on page 26 for these separators.
I know, but he mentioned page 15, which is
Yeah.
at the top
It's this
of
one right here.
Oh,
top.
yeah,
This is page
15 of
This
the
one.
index.
Of the index.
Yeah.
All right.
He's talking about the index part. It talks, it's quarter right from it.
So on page 15, it says, where soil it says where erosion is evident. I don't know what rill. R-I-L-L.
What paragraph you on?
Vegetated areas. Second from the bottom.
Oh, where real.
Second sentence,
Yeah, where real.
third sentence, where rill erosion is evident, armor the area with an appropriate lining or divert the erosion flows to on-site areas able to withstand the concentrated flows.
So that's on a slope. If there's a slope and it rains, there's like the little lines that kind of form
Yeah.
down that slope, that's the rill.
That's the real.
Oh.
I never heard of
Okay, so with your project,
There is no slope.
this doesn't apply? Is that what you're saying?
There is no slope, per se. Yeah, there's no slope. There's only, in the back of the site, we're not doing any work back there.
Okay. I'm just reading it, trying to paint the picture.
Well, in one regards, they are putting in the rip-rain buffer, so there is that work.
Does that work?
There
But
is
again,
that work.
it's-
Okay. I see what you're saying, that in the grand scheme of the maintenance project, that yes.
If there is any of that, they would need to accommodate accordingly. And then there's a housekeeping plan, but again, the client, would have this, Ata's the operator, but Summit Distributing is that relationship.
The Summit Distribution is supply the gas and they own the building and I operate the filter station.
What's his last name?
Other questions from the board?
Could you talk about the floodplain and floodway areas and elevations that exist, elevations that may change?
Yeah, the floodplain elevation,
What you got going on there?
so here's, on our grading plan, better on this one. So the existing floodplain elevation is 997.5, which is the elevation that FEMA has dictated for this area. It's the dashed line on the plan, kind of goes around. There was this building that was here before, kind of ends right at the building, comes down, around, through the canopy, through the tanks, kind of just loops around the site. So anything above that line is outside of the floodplain elevation. Anything on the outside of this line is within the floodplain elevation. So that's where the flood water kind of goes to. Our plan is to cut the grade down, so we're providing additional floodplain elevation storage. So let me go back. This dark, thick dashed line is the new floodplain elevation. Kind of comes around and it wraps in, because we're not doing any work back here. It wraps into that. So in this area where we're actually filling for the trash enclosure, we're actually taking away floodplain storage in this area to kind of raise the grade, right? If you had a slope coming down like this, we're filling that area to raise it. The rest of this area, it's higher right now. We're lowering that grade, which would provide additional floodplain storage. So the new 997.5 elevation would kind of run through here, kind of tie in here a little bit, and then in this general area, there would be minor changes in this area. But in this area, this swath of land would provide additional floodplain storage. So currently, that area doesn't flood. There's more room for the floodwater to get to that area. Our dispensers are above the floodplain elevation in both scenarios, the existing and the proposed. I don't know if that answers that.
Okay, and part of the project is in the floodway. Can you just point that out?
The floodway is back here. There's a solid dash line on your plans, kind of running through this area. So anything in this, for this side of the flood, north of this floodway line is the floodway. We're outside of the floodway. So the only work in that area is the riparian plantings.
And could you just touch on, in front of the plantings, that brown strip you have going across there?
So this is a riprap apron. It really serves no purpose at this point. It's just, let me see. So from this area, from south of the riprap, the previous proposal had a riprap strip. Again, I didn't work on that one, but they had a riprap strip kind of around the perimeter. That was done as stormwater flows through. That 5-foot strip was going to take the water and kind of infiltrate it. So anything outside of this area would get, if anything goes beyond this, would get infiltrated into this stone area. But what we did was we redesigned it. So this is kind of a high point, and that parking lot, if there's any stormwater here, would get into the new catch basins.
Other questions from the board? I have one. Sure, go ahead, Phil.
So on the new proposed canopy, you're gonna pull in with a vehicle, you're facing the river. If it's a truck with a trailer, they're gassing up their snowmobiles on the trailer in the back, a bus, an RV, how do they get out?
So there is no way to accommodate a bus or a larger truck with a trailer back here. This is for passenger cars only. We did discuss this. They would put signage under the deck of the canopy that says no trucks or buses with trailers.
Really? Think that'll work? Have you seen this town on a busy winter day?
Yeah, I did. I've been seeing 15 years. I operate day in, day out that place.
I saw a car stop at Christmas week right in the middle of Main Street. People got out of the car, right in the middle of the road, went into DJ's to see if they could get a reservation, I guess. Because we were behind them for about 8 minutes. That's the consideration. That's what I'm referring to, is that type of
I totally
clientele.
respect that, but if it's, definitely, the way he answered it, definitely we put a sign. That's the reason we're not putting a diesel on that canopy, only gas. First thing is there's no diesel on that canopy.
So the only
That's
diesel
what
offering would
that's
be.
what we only gas dispenser.
So let's brainstorm this. How could we, what, I'm just throwing this out for anybody.
Yeah.
How could we enforce this? How could we actually just make sure that only cars use those pumps? I mean, they're gonna pull in, the place is packed, all the pumps in the front are full, they got their snowmobiles, their buddies are waiting for them out at Echo Lake, they wanna roll. Who's gonna enforce the fact that they're not gonna pull in there? Once they pull in, they can't get out. So now they're doing some kind of crazy K-turn, backing up and trying to get out of that back area. Where there's cars parked, you have 6 spaces back there. So people are gonna be walking between those 6 spaces in the store and back. So you have pedestrian traffic, and you have that scenario going on. How can that be enforced? I guess that's my question.
Basically, your question is basing exceptional situation. That's the question basis. These things can happen in any intersection, any day, any time of the day. It happens all the time on the bridges. It's all that. If that's the way first thing, there's no diesel sign on there. The bigger tractor, mistakenly somebody can go. They can back off if somebody can go. But can I mandate stand 24/7, not somebody goes? That's not gonna happen. That's the best way to answer that question is, the situation you're creating, it can happen. And based on that exceptional situation, the plan we gotta build based on that exceptional situation. That's my take.
Okay.
That make any sense or not?
So, yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to get ideas.
Yeah, I'm here to help you and you're here to help me.
Again, this, for a truck, this is the ideal, any trailer, this is the ideal movement. This, again, under the canopy deck, you could put a large sign that, says no trucks or large vehicles beyond this point.
And a gas only, I will put a sign,
Gas-
anything is
gas
just the
only.
gas only, there's no diesel on that side. That's intentionally, we did not put a diesel, because nobody, bigger tractor can put and stuff.
Again, a worse,
Yeah.
What did he say?
Lower the canopy.
Yeah, lower the canopy.
We're brainstorming.
could lower the canopy.
Cars only, no trucks, no trailers, a sign of something like that, or?
I have seen it, those people, because definitely I would put a, definitely canopy have a
Yeah.
gas only.
If you do it, you have to have it where they pull in and it's front and center, like,
Totally.
no cars or no trucks, cars only.
I mean, there is a room, but definitely it would make that bigger trailer to make a left turn or right turn, it definitely the way it goes, it would become difficult to make it if somebody is 18-wheeler pulled in right in there.
Predominantly, where do the vehicles come in from?
Yeah.
Do they come in from here?
Yeah.
Well, this was previously the Napa.
Yeah.
they come in from here, you can make this an exit only.
Yeah.
Put a sign right at the driveway, exit only, or do not enter, I
Yeah.
guess. Do not enter, so a vehicle coming off of that would not see, would see the do not enter. Anyone coming in from here, a truck coming in from here, or someone with a trailer coming in from here, then would see signs. We could put them on the canopy column and on the deck that says, gas only. Or you could say diesel only here, put a sign on the diesel pump that says.
Yeah, I would have on that canopy sign, gas only and no diesel and something, section cannot be a tractor trailer pull on that canopy.
Do not enter sign there would keep larger vehicles from coming in from that driveway.
I don't think that would work. They won't pay attention to that.
People don't pay attention.
Red lights.
But people coming both sides right now, or they were.
I do.
I mean, changing to a one-way in, one-way out is a pretty drastic change, but, I mean, I think at that point, if that's a consideration that we want to talk back with Warfel in regards to traffic measures, and that's a pretty drastic change from what currently exists, which is free-for-all.
Right.
Other questions from the board? I know we've got some other people here who wish to speak to this
I
project.
have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Rose.
I wanted to know also if he was having any charging stations.
There are no charging stations.
No charging stations? Okay. Did you have anything else? Did you have anything else to add, Rose?
Not at this time.
Okay. So I know we've got some abutters here to talk. I'd like to give you guys the opportunity to speak or have questions. Floors, I believe both you gentlemen from the Legion.
Keith Garland. I have a procedural question. I received a notice of the hearing, and I see a copy of the longer notice that covers everything. There's no indication on here of a site visit on any of the documents I saw. If I hadn't looked out the window of the Legion, I wouldn't have seen you over there. Usually, if there's a site visit, it gets annotated somewhere so people know that there's a site visit.
Site visits are at the discretion of the Development Review Board to offer only a visual representation for the project.
But you don't let anyone else know?
It gets posted at the office.
Well, it wasn't posted on anything I saw. They're just a
But
procedural point.
it's a separate, do you have that?
Yeah, I have it.
Separate
Where
agenda.
is it?
It's a separate posted
No,
agenda.
actually, I don't have it.
I do, I'll find it.
Secondly, I wasn't clear on the discussion of the stone riprap. Is it gonna be stone riprap now or not?
Here it is.
It is.
And it's gonna be
That's all
fixed
it is.
there.
You just want to pass that to the gentleman.
Excuse me, could you please hand this to Mr. Arlen? Thank you.
Thank you.
Rose has
Go
got
ahead,
it.
Rose.
I just wanted to say that the site reviews are not part of the record, that they don't go into the minutes, they don't go into the decision. It's only for the board's review to know where things are, to measure out things, and to look at the site. Abutters, when they get their notice, they're welcome to go anytime that they want to.
Thank you, Rose.
That's it.
So you said you had another question that you weren't clear on?
I'm not sure, as I was looking through the village zoning documents, in the conditional use application process, I didn't copy the whole thing, but I noticed in section 550.4, .5, .6, .7, there's discussion of glare, lights, and reflection, fire, explosive, and safety hazards, storage of flammable liquids. I haven't heard anything addressed in the hearing so far in regards to gasoline and those flammable, other than the separator, some separator that he talked about.
Do you have specific questions?
No, I just want to make sure that those things are considered by the board.
Where did you pull, from which section did you pull that from, so I can look at the exact.
It's page 59 on the copy of the documents I have. There's 4 particular paragraphs, 550.4, 0.5, 0.6, and 0.7.
I just figured at this point, as we work our way through the hearing, that you patiently sat here and waited your turn to speak. I'd give you an opportunity to ask any questions. Anything else you'd like to add? Questions, comments, concerns?
Having participated on this board for many years, and participated in the earlier hearings, there's a significant difference between what the current fire chief put in his letter and the fire chief at the time, Pete Kalenda, put in his letter. There are a lot of different considerations. I know the plans have changed somewhat for the distances from the American Legion building. I think on the original plan, there were 15 something. I see 20, 23 and 26 now on that boundary toward the Shell station. We still have concern about the safety impacts of a fire hazard on those pumps in relationship to our building. And there was a much more significant discussion by Chief Kalenda than I saw in the reports from the current chief about the fire safety related to an older and prehistoric building on Main Street.
Prehistoric.
Can we have them cover the fire suppression?
Yep, go ahead. If you guys want to cover the fire suppression now, we'll get that out of the way.
So the canopy, the existing canopy has a fire suppression system. If there's any fire under the canopy, the fire suppression system goes off, puts out the fire. The new canopy will also have a fire suppression system, and there are grooved, on the apron itself, there are concrete PLBs, positive limiting barriers. So if there's a fire underneath the canopy, on the dispenser island, the fire goes, it would kind of be held within that dispensing area. You get, during the site visit, you saw under the new canopy, there were some V grooves. I don't know if you saw that on the concrete, but that basically is a positive limiting barrier. It's a barrier to hold the fire within that area. So if there is a fire under this, it would hold the fire within that dispensing apron area and this apron area as well. Fire suppression system would go off and put out the fire. Their concern, I was at that previous meeting 5 years ago. The concern was we were closer to the Legion building. I think we were 15 and 14 or something like that, closer to the building. If there's a fire, this is a canopy that's not made of wood. It's metal. It's steel. Steel doesn't burn, and as much as wood would. So this canopy is protected. There's a fire suppression system. It meets the requirements that the fire marshal has. It's a pre-engineered fire suppression system that you would see on any canopy throughout the state, throughout the East Coast.
I was at a gas station when a fire suppression system went off. It's pretty impressive. I mean, you don't ever want to have it go off, but if it does, you put there was a threat of fire, and it sucks the oxygen out of whatever's underneath it for a length of time. It's pretty wild. Not something you forget when you see it.
So the other large concern that was raised by your abutters, the American Legion, was in regards to lights and glare. Let's talk about what's going to be lighted, what's not going to be lighted. What's your lighting plan?
There's a lighting plan that was also submitted. The second to last sheet of the set. We're not proposing any new light poles on the property. It's only canopy lighting underneath the canopy. At the property line, 3-foot candles kind of near the canopy, going down almost zero at the property line along the street front for the new canopy. Oh, it's for safety, you need lighting under the canopy, it's probably similar to any of the other stations along Main Street.
Is there any proposed new lighting on the building?
The building itself,
No, there's only on the toward Legion, used to be 2 lights and the same 2 lights is coming back on.
On the Legion side?
That side is just 1 light to just
on this side of the building.
this side of the building.
So,
There's gonna be just 2 lights.
so if people are using that back parking lot along the river, so to speak,
On the back building, there's 3 lights on the back of the building. There used to be 3. There's an existing light, put them back on. No additional lights on that building.
No additional light poles.
No additional poles, no lights on the building.
Keith, do you guys have lights in the back of the Legion and for the back parking lot?
Not for the parking lot.
No,
It's really the back of the building, is that back of the building.
but it lights up the back parking lot or just
Moderately.
some? Yeah.
I have another.
Yeah, go ahead.
You talked about the spill, oh, I forget the exact term, but how fast is that activated? Or if there's a spill, how fast do the pumps shut off? Who shuts them off?
The fire suppression system, if there's a spill.
No, if there's a spill without a fire.
Yes,
and
there's a
You
switch.
say the clerks monitor something.
Yes,
Could
there's
you
a
let him
switch.
finish, please? Thank you.
So I'm wondering how fast, if there's a spill, and how fast does someone notice that there's gasoline pouring into your swirling evaporator before the pump shut off? I didn't hear any discussion of that.
So, you go ahead. So the entire fuel system is designed. All right, so if there's a spill from the fuel system, the piping underground, the tanks are brand new. The entire system, the piping is constantly monitored. There's a console located inside of the building. Vita root?
Vita root.
Yep, so we have a Vita root.
Any leaks happen.
Any leak, so it's
Monitoring system.
constantly monitored. There's a line leak detector that's on the product piping, coming from, so these larger circles on these tanks. There's a containment sump. The sump, there's a STP, which is a pump in each sump. Product piping is connected to that. Someone comes and pulls the dispenser, that triggers it. Product piping is dispensed into the fuel tank of the vehicle. If the guy takes it out and starts spraying it, we can't control that. But if there's a minor spill, like I said, these grooves will contain a minor spill. If there's a larger spill, which shouldn't be the case because everything that's being proposed on the site is brand new. Under each dispenser, there's a sump, containment sump. Those have sensors in each sump. The tank sumps also have sensors. The double wall tanks are double wall. They're monitored. The interstitial space in that tank, you can picture a piece of cardboard, but obviously made out of fiberglass, right? There's an interstitial space that's constantly monitored by the Vita root console. That's accepted nationwide. So if there's any type of fluctuation in that, the alarm goes off in the store. Ata has to have, per the EPA, he has to have a Class A, B, and a C operator, and they are all trained in if there's a spill, who to call, what to do. It's all mandated.
And there is an emergency switch with the cashier stand is under right there, just like alarm switch. You push it, the whole system shuts off. There's a one switch, you touch it, and the system goes off. All the power goes off from the tanks and stuff. But the one he's talking about, monitoring system, that's a pretty loud alarm. And I will be notified, then definitely EPA and fire department, everybody. But if anybody says, oh, I spilled like a 3 gallon, every cashier chain just touch this button and all the pumps goes down, all of them.
Do you have any other questions, comments?
Not this time. Ed?
I guess, it said that it's on the I believe the footprint of the Napa building, which it obviously comes a lot farther forward towards Main Street by several feet. I think Napa building was maybe 6 feet or so. So that, I guess, somewhat concerns me, but it's how a vehicle's gonna get out of there. Even if a car pulls up into that canopy area, you're gonna tell me they're gonna bang a U-turn? Either way. I find that hard to believe. Even a 150 pickup, 1500, whatever, I don't foresee that. And then there's also the delivery vehicles. Where are they gonna park? They kind of always parked right in front of Napa, the way it was, and took up a good portion of the parking lot and so forth. And I personally, I don't see it really working very well. And as you said, Mr. Carr, I believe back in 2020, sounds like there's gonna be a whole lot of turnaround back there for people to get out.
Can you touch on the vehicle delivery plan, just to address that?
So vehicle deliveries would pretty much continue the way they are today. They would come in, I believe what do you have for box trucks?
Yes.
The deliveries, fuel delivery would occur here, similar to what happens today. Box trucks typically would park in here and bring any of their product through the front door. As far as turning movement, if you recall, we had some perpendicular parking spaces here. We eliminated those to allow for this movement around this area to make that U-turn. So this car could make this U-turn. We provided 30 feet here. Typically you would have 20 to 24. So we provided that room so the vehicle has the ample room to make that turn and make this turn by eliminating some of those parking spaces that were perpendicular previously.
Go ahead. How does the garbage truck gonna empty those?
Garbage truck would come in. The reason this is angled, it would come in, open the gates, drop, and then make the turn out of the site.
Small garbage truck.
There's about 55, 60 feet from the face of that to this quality.
Garbage trucks are usually 36, 35 feet.
I might be wrong, but they're around 30 to 40 feet.
And they pick it up, dump it, or back up to it and dump it, and then
They front load, they come up, dump it, back up, and then come back out, back up, and then come back out.
that'll be an exercise. I'd like to see.
Currently, the dumpsters are behind, or previously they were behind the Napa building.
Right.
And they were coming in from this small, I forget how much room there was between the two buildings, the Napa building and the.
Since that building is gone, there's a lot more room now than before.
Property, trust me.
There's a lot more room with this plan, there's a lot more room for dumpster than existing situation when the Napa building was there. And the same way as the truck was going, picking up from over there and has no problem, last 19 years. But now there's a lot more room there. Back there. Thank you.
Back in the original hearing, we discussed an exit around the building and come out on the right-hand side of the building. Can you refresh us as to why that wouldn't work?
An exit around the back of the building?
Correct. There.
We'd have to pave this whole area to be able to accommodate vehicular movements, or I don't know if you'd want to keep it gravel.
I mean, but was there a reason that couldn't happen? I mean, is there infrastructure back there, or you can't do it because, you know?
Garbage cans are in the way, and then that
Well, they
wall
could be
thing.
moved.
Well,
He's got that wall
There's
thing
development
there.
within this 15-foot stream setback, the top of bank. Trying to limit that development. You need guardrails, quite a bit of infrastructure improvements, paving. Yeah, you would want to pave it because the Allegiant parking lot currently is paved as well. So right now there's gravel back here, gets ripped up, You would want to pave that to be able to accommodate a vehicle coming out.
So that's the only reason that holds you back from having that as part of the plan, is having to pay
That, grading, floodplain mitigation, I guess, to get a vehicle to safely kind of make that movement. There's a little bit more design involved in that.
So-
Anything's possible, but, you know,
Yeah.
you design it, put some barriers, paving, more lighting back there to make it safe.
So on the right-hand side of the building, as your plan exists now, there won't be any vehicles going along the right-hand side of the building to get out back? That'll be blocked off, or,
Correct.
I mean, it's all green now. but-
Correct, it would be, it would not be used for vehicular access.
Can you talk about snow removal, big storm, we get a big whopper, what's the plan?
So snow storage, as previously presented, would be around these areas and in the back here. Any excess snow would, probably be in these parking spaces. If that creates an issue, they would have to ship it off-site. I don't know if that's done here in Ludlow.
All the time.
Yeah.
I had moved once, last 19 years, one time I had.
So basically, those 6 parking spaces along in the back wouldn't be used in the winter.
You could, since we need 12, we have 14. These 3 areas, these 2 spaces and this little angled area here could be used for snow storage. Any melting of the snow would get into the new catch basins and whatnot.
I mean, the whole parking area, the whole site plan there, even a 6-inch storm's gonna pack those 2 places without any trouble. What about a 1.5-foot storm or a 2-footer? Or a 3-footer?
What do other businesses do in the area? Again, you have room to put the snow back here. There's room back here to push snow. There's room back here to push snow. Any excess snow would have to be, again, it would impede the business. You would, in the 3 months that it snows or 4 months that it snows up here, you would put snow storage up there. These parking spaces, there's only, a few spaces here, and that's what they would have to deal with. If it impedes their business, they would have to ship it off-site.
Go ahead, Mr. Bates.
I want to start off by saying the subway got cleaned up. Anybody that does anything in town and cleans up the property, I'm for it. The shell's gonna look nice when it's done, I'm sure. But I still have a concern here. I have a concern, if I'm gonna fuel up here, I'm probably not gonna do a 3-point turn and turn back around. I'm gonna take my simplest, easiest route. If it's behind the Legion, that's where I'm going. You said it yourself. We go from 1,500 to probably 25,000, 30,000 people. I don't want to say that they all drive like they come from the city, but they all drive like they come from the city. They're not gonna, this is gonna be tough. Signage alone is not gonna cure that, just so you know. It's gonna take more than signs.
What is gonna be tough with just making here making 30 feet as a room there, here.
It sounds like a
skip
lot.
that one.
It sounds like a lot, but I can tell you if I'm fueling up there, I'm gonna take a quick look, and I'm gonna take my quickest, easiest route out of there. And that's what most people are gonna do. Just having a sign there, I don't think a signage, you need more than just signage to stop that.
Okay, if you have any option, put them on the table, I'll consider.
Thank you, Mr. Bates. Go ahead, Jean.
I only had one question when I came in here, but now I have 2. And I think you answered the first one. On the plan that I saw, I didn't see any change to the sidewalk. But
So that-
think you.
Yeah, so that was covered in the original permit as part of one of the requirements.
Okay.
They're here to amend that permit on certain aspects. So that was reconfirmed.
Okay.
And that is what will be happening. So it will be following that standard guideline of the cement with like kind of the cut look that has been the kind of the new standard.
Because I see this as a real opportunity to improve pedestrian safety in the village. And this project is an opportunity to do that. And now that I see the traffic flow plan, I'm concerned about, again, pedestrians walking there and what might be, when it's really busy, a lot of traffic coming and going, trying to get in, trying to get out, backing out into the street. Anyways, I didn't envision this kind of project, but thanks for the pickup on the sidewalk.
So was that your two, or did you have other questions?
No, that was
Okay.
my two.
Nope, I just want to make sure. We did cover that.
Yes, thanks.
Appreciate you reminding me. Go ahead.
One question on the sidewalk, I do see that, the permit conditions, but that, I guess, could have been, or can it be worded differently? It just says concrete sidewalk, so, again, I took this project over 5 years ago, I worked on it. I didn't work on it for the last 5 years, and the person that was working on it left. So, you could say concrete sidewalk apron
Yep,
along.
they're done to the highway town spec.
Right, so just the wording, I guess, I misunderstood that.
Okay.
So it was
So-
there, I'm sorry, I missed
Yeah.
that.
No, that's okay. I mean, it was valid questions, right? And it was something that was brought up to the permit that you're currently operating under. Do you need clarification language?
I have it now.
Okay.
I have it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any further questions, the best in reference to the permit that is currently existing that you're operating under would be prefaced to Juan Tarple, who's the road foreman. So when people do sidewalk cuts and stuff like that, that's who they talk with. And they're put back to the standard that has set forth, which is the cement. It kind of has the, like, where they put I forget the exact official term, but
the joint, yep.
Joint, there we go, yeah. And so that the goal in the perfect world, the goal for the village is to have one uniform look for all entries and sidewalks. Other questions? Anything from the board members?
When he said exit on one side and entrance on the other, if you come in on the right, you have a hard time getting to those gas pumps by the Legion. That's why entrance and exit wouldn't work.
I don't think, I mean, I'm not a traffic specialist, but I think that would be a challenge. In regards to the Legion property, that would be abutting where that space is that all parking spaces along there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got 10 spaces out there.
Okay, is it?
2 of them are handicapped.
And so that 10 is right a line from, if I was to draw a line, basically they would be pull right into there, then you would back up.
Going this way,
Yeah,
right
okay.
up behind the building
Okay.
towards the river.
Okay.
Is it 5 and 5 or 10 in a row?
I'm sorry?
Is it 5 and 5, 5 back to back, or is it 10 in a row?
No, they're kind of front.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So actually, when you guys leave, you drive out through the Shell property.
No, I usually come out by Cumberland Farms on the other.
I was just noticed a site visit,
Some
cars that were
people
parked
do,
back, cars that were parked back there were all pointing to a Shell
Some will come out
station.
that way.
Yeah.
People always thought with the roadway between Napa and us, that was a right of way. And yes, would utilize that, and I know Ludlow PD many years ago came and confronted somebody about parking there because it was a fire hazard right away if an emergency vehicle had to get in there. But it obviously is not a legal right of way that we have or that is there.
So the biggest, at least from my takeaway, the biggest challenge in regards to your problem is having people try to pull through your parking lot when they attempt to leave there. Is that correct? Just so I understand your stance. So would you be opposed to some form of, other than signage, to prevent vehicles from driving through there? So that would not only limit Shell vehicles, that would also prohibit your vehicles. trying to address all potential options
Right.
here. Is that something that you would be willing to consider?
We'd be willing to address it for sure,
Okay.
if it's doable,
Okay.
in my world.
Just put a fence across it, right here.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't have to be a fence.
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
I should put a fence all the way here.
No. I'm not.
Why not? If this
Fire
is
access.
concern is, my
Yeah.
people gonna go this way, I can put fence on my property all the way at the back, and then nobody goes on your side.
I'm trying to come up with, trying to fledge out what your butters have as a potential concern, so, yeah.
If you put up a
If
fence,
that
you're
were to
gonna,
happen, we'd have to be very creative with our parking, because our parking goes here, 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 here. So people come in and come around, and or, yes, as you mentioned, we go out that way sometimes.
And I have no problem doing 19 years, you're 70-30% parking, always in my parking. I never complained even once, last 19
No,
years.
you haven't, we know that.
I'm a good neighbor.
No, you're not a good neighbor. We're not here to be bad neighbors.
No. My freezer, my things, I'm a good neighbor in 19 years, I'm a good community person too, as a 19 year as a small businessman. And I'm here for you and to help me to make this project work, to making this place look better than before. And being Napa building is gone, is a substantial amount of money spending on this one. It's just a developing the town property. At the end of the day, any business, even on the private metro, is lead to the town. What is look like, if that is, I will consider, but definitely I will leave it open, so we can work with it. And this is plenty of room to small car to make a turn. And the delivery has never been issued, delivery come in the daytime, the delivery mostly, my store delivery is right here. The truck basically back up and they go back and there.
I'm not aware of any issues with
Yeah.
store delivery.
Just honking a horn, the truck backing up and the backing up the traffic, that site is a lot more room than any other site, is next door site, the mobile site, even the assembly site. This have a better traffic flow than any other sites in the town.
I don't think it would want to impede that open space between the two
No, I don't.
in any way.
I have no intention. I'm just saying if
without-
that helps them, I'm
Without
willing
at
to
least the
consider.
fire department weighing
Yes,
in on it.
anybody.
Yeah, I'm just trying to throw
Yeah.
out ideas of, what I was taking away as one of your major concerns is how can we potentially find a resolution to what that is. But I definitely agree with Phil that I want some input from those powers to be, we'll just call them, if that is the case.
Yeah, there's no doubt that if the Legion's on fire,
Yeah.
the first fire truck's driving right between that
Yeah.
canopy and your building to get to the back.
Yeah.
And my suppression system gonna help.
Well, that's true.
My suppression-
No, I mean, our main concern is the safety of our building and safety of people coming and going to and from our building, going down the sidewalks. You know, we've had a good relationship with all of our neighbors
Yes, we
over the
do.
years. No, we
Yeah,
have.
we
There's
do.
never been an issue.
No.
Not trying to suggest there's one now.
No.
We're concerned, it's an old building. We spent a lot of money to put fire suppression inside, you know, to make that, and that building is available for all kinds of community uses. It's not just Legion activities. So, our main concern is the safety of the building. And they've addressed a lot of those tonight, so
Thank you.
Other questions from the board?
How are we gonna deal with the updated police letter, because it is kind of vague, the writing, if we close this hearing?
So we're,
Leave it
so
open to a new
we're,
letter?
we're missing, apparently we're missing Kyle Medash's letter,
Yes,
and we would like the clarification
on the police letter.
on the police letter here, which I took a notation.
Okay.
So during traffic hours, yeah, so we'd like them identified. I think as the precedent that we've set is if we always want to hear from what the floodplain manager says. I think it would warrant a recess, but what's the purview of the board?
We need to have that information.
Okay. I make a motion that we recess this hearing.
I'll second.
Till the
Discussion?
June meeting?
Yes.
I might just suggest that, you know, you guys really put your thoughts together as to, you know, the concerns about how do you get out? You know, whether it's signage or if you come up with something else, put your best foot forward on that one. That's a
Yeah.
concern.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you very much.
We recess that till next month.
Yes. I'm sorry, George, I always like to know when it's recessed too. Or when it's been recessed.
That's what we're here for.
I know. When is the June meeting?
Yes,
Julie and Bill, it's been 5 years. Where you are, or more.
June 9th.
Yeah.
June 9th.
Want to come back? My seat's still warm.
I got it, I'm only Brandon.
That's what she said, he said it.
You know, it's information.
No, thank you. Next on the agenda is we have minutes. February.
Yes, February and April.
You got it right.
What can I tell
You
you?
got it twice.
What can I tell you? You know, I'm
Guys, on page one,
Julie, which one is this? February?
February, we're starting.
page one, under number one, the last sentence seems to be flood doors instead of floor doors.
Where is that?
On number one,
Are we on February?
Yeah.
February.
it should be flood doors instead of floor doors. So just a little.
February. And I don't see any best view
The
of
last
that site
sentence.
anymore.
It should be flood instead of floor.
Poor Jack didn't catch that.
Just leave that whole site empty.
Do you have anything on two, anybody?
I have one on two, page two.
Yeah, that's all.
Number 5, the second to last sentence, it says random outbreaks and shapes. He said there were a lot of habitats on Okemo.
Of random outbreak.
Oh, yeah.
And random outbreaks.
So he was talking about the shape of the wildlife area.
Yeah.
That was in reference to that property.
Okay.
We
And
could
that-
change it to of random shape outbreaks and switch it of random. Okay.
On number 23 on the next page, right at the very top, I think it'd be clearer. Phil Carter asked how much of the entire parcel. Does that make sense? When I first read it, I saw the lot and I thought, what lot? He's
Oh,
got
yeah.
8
So
proposed
entire
lots
parcel?
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what lot is
That
he
makes
talking
sense, that
about?
makes sense.
But then I realized it was the entire parcel.
On page 4, number 64, the retention pound should just be pond.
What does it say?
64.
Just it says retention pound. It's okay, it's just pond.
Up on top of the same page, 43, I just wasn't clear on that. George Tucker Jr. said it doesn't have an isolation shield outside of our shields. What does that mean? It doesn't have an isolation shield.
Oh, okay. So this was in reference to the wells of the neighbors, that it did not depict the neighbors' wells isolation shields. It only had his. So if you look above that, so it's where you said at 41, board needs to know where other well shields are located. He said the well is added to the plan, and I said the other wells, which are the neighboring wells, do not have isolation shields on the plan, other than our shields in the reference of the shields that Jason Wayville had created for that property.
Okay,
If
so,
that-
no, I have no idea what you just said, but.
Okay, no. No, so it was, because you'd asked where are the neighbors' well isolation shields?
Yeah.
And he said, I put the wells on the map, but he did not put the neighbors' isolation shields on the map.
Okay.
And that was what I was referring to.
Okay, so. how-
Doesn't have the neighbor's isolation shields.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next page, under 5, number 4, just Susan Balch said that, upper left of the building.
5-4.
5 and 4. Susan Balch said, this is Susan Balch.
Oh, said.
Oh, yep, okay.
No big deal. There's more.
So the next page, number 10, George Tucker Jr. said the police.
Oh, I think I called the police. There's probably a band named Police, isn't there? Must have been in reference to the police letter and those conditions.
Okay.
On 27, I said, I didn't ask about dinner, I asked about dining.
You must have been hungry.
Maybe you're just hungry. Dining. That's great.
All right.
And 2 pages later,
Oh,
on the page where, at the bottom where it says minutes,
Okay.
go up to number 16.
Second to last page.
Okay.
George Tucker Jr. said, "This is a unique situation and only a faculty of time."
where?
That's number 18.
Or 18, I'm sorry. What's that mean?
Oh.
A unique situation and only a faculty.
Facility.
Facility.
No, it doesn't make sense either.
Uh-oh.
I think of it. George
Okay,
Tucker-
so this is in regards to
This is-
the equipment fee. And we were talking about in reference to, because if you look 2 lines above that, it said that the rescue from Chester would be 1 to 2 hours.
Right.
And then it talks about the cost that, the original Ben Whalen letter, which had the big number cost.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the unique situation and only a faculty of time is the fact that if you choose not to have Ludlow do it, you're gonna wait 2 hours and that person would probably be dead. And that fee would be for the equipment to do those things, which since that has been rectified.
So how are we gonna fix that?
Somebody fix that word faculty doesn't. A matter
It-
of time?
So, yeah, only in regards to the response time for rescue, maybe, I don't know if that.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
from Chester.
from Chester compared to Ludlow, yeah.
I'll make a motion, we approve the February 10th, 2025 as corrected.
Second. Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We've got April's.
Now, I've always done this in the past. If you notice, Shaw's has been recessed from the meetings of blah, 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 blah. Do you want that as part of the record?
Probably.
I've always done
If
it.
If possible.
Yeah,
It makes, when Chris Callahan writes decisions, it makes it easier.
Oh, okay, good. Then I'll continue doing it, whatever.
It gives him more information. Anyone have anything for April? It was a nice short meeting.
Yeah, no, just on this, on page 2, number 8 at the bottom. There's a new word, I don't know this word. Sprinklered.
Yeah, you know, that's exactly what he said.
John, did you say
John,
that?
did you say sprinkle?
Yeah, that's, actually, if you go 2 above that,
Right, it says, it says,
if you go 2 above it in the letter, so I went by what was in the letter.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I know, it's not a word, believe me, spell check did not like it.
I agree with that.
yeah, because it's in line 5 also.
Yeah, that's why I had to do it, or I felt I had to do it. I could have put, SIC and,
Give John a grammar lesson.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes. Okay, discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Appreciate your patience. We're on to other business and have you give a review of the status of the Okemo Trailside Community Association MOU.
Pick the
That
longest
was
one.
You pick one of the longer meetings.
It wasn't my choice. Trust me, wasn't my choice. My wife is pissed.
You can never blame us.
That's my daughter's second birthday today.
Oh, no. How could you, Daddy?
Yeah, well, here I am.
She's 2, she won't remember as much. But
Should've
Nobody, her mom will. So here I am.
So we got the MSK engineers
Yep.
document. Can you walk us through, in vague, I know that there's an even bigger document. And the reason that I asked you to stay is that you kind of gave the Cliff Notes variation there.
Yeah.
And this is really where this conversation is allowed to happen
Yep.
under the discussion of the MOU, being that this is not a hearing. Who's responsible for what? And if there's problems, who should we contact?
So, I guess the first part of it, right, I want to make it clear that there is no permit that is actually required by the DRB for this job,
Correct.
right, or project. It's under the agreement that we have. And also that other owners that are looking for projects or to do should still be allowed to submit and present their projects to the Development Review Board to be considered as we work through this and get things done. So I just want to make sure that that's
Yep,
known
no,
and we're all on the same page with
We
that.
are on the same page of the MOU,
Yep.
where you're allowed to submit for your projects, gain approval per projects, but the only thing withheld is COs.
Correct.
All of which is pending that in good faith you are continuing forward.
Correct.
And so we haven't had you come back since the initial DRB, would have been 2 years ago?
Yeah, and I guess that was kind of, it was an unknown, I guess, of what we're
It-
supposed to come back and present to the
it's-
DRB.
It's different projects with different people. At some point, we want to have at least some correspondence.
Of course.
And this is our opportunity to make sure that what we talked about is the going forward standard, that there is progress. And if the board has any questions, that they have those opportunity to ask those questions.
Correct.
So everyone's happy, right?
Yeah.
You can continue to work on
So-
projects and
Right.
in the completion of when everything is done, that those stipulations of no COs can eventually go away.
Correct. Okay. I just want to make sure that was
Appreciate
clear
it.
and it
Yep.
was on the record for that too.
Yep.
MSK obviously has done all the design work, has worked with Act 250, et cetera, on where the line should run. I submitted the new plan. There was an original plan, but through the Act 250, we had to redesign it to get away from some of the wetlands. That has all been approved. So at this point in time, we are contracted with MSK. We are contracted with M&M Excavating to do the work to start in July and be completed in the November in timeline of the MOU that we agreed upon in the 3-year timeframe. Obviously, some of this took longer than we all expected because of the Act 250 part. That is a longer process. The design, lining up contractors, et cetera. So, it's hard to start the project and do it in small sections when you have to do all of the Act 250 at once, right? You gotta start it all at once and just start from the beginning and then now we're ready to roll. And then we're all the way down to what color the hydrants have to be. One thing that I do wanna mention is in the letter from the fire chief, he brings up other multiple things of a plan for the maintenance of it, this and that. That was not in the original agreement or in the original fire chief's letter, Kalinda, that we had. Now, that does not mean we are not gonna have that plan. The hydrants that are there right now in place, we do open them and flush them regularly just to make sure they're flowing properly, and which we would continue to do, and also look at the pond, and we can present a plan if needed to you guys once it's done, right?
Once it's available, that if that documentation is available, we'd love to have it.
Yeah, because it can be pretty straightforward of how we, how often do we flush them? How often do we look and dredge the pond to make sure the flow is correct? We could, I know the fire department's been up there and we've allowed them to use it as a testing spot.
That was realistically where I was probably gonna say, he probably wants to know, if, hey, you're gonna test it once a year in June, let's just say, right? Maybe we'll coordinate with you. I mean,
Yeah.
unfortunately, we had an incident recently, right? That's a great opportunity that, hey, we're gonna work with you guys to have a training day or walk through.
And that's what we wanna do too, right? And I've never, you know, with Kalinda too, like, and when they did it, I never said no to when they wanted to test or do a training exercise up there. It was, hey, feel free, please do. You know, like, happy to use our property for that. So we wanna work with the town and everybody at the same time.
Yep.
You know, and that's why we're doing this, right? For the safety of our homeowners, everything, you know, we wanna comply with what we need to, so.
Any questions from board members?
No.
Oh, come on.
Well, we covered a lot.
Come on.
And the new pool be used as part of the fire
It
suppression
could.
system?
It actually, that's a great question. That is actually a great question. It could be. The pool, as always, we never drain it, in the wintertime. It's not used in the wintertime, so we shut the heat off to it. But obviously, so you got the top freeze, but it's always accessible for extra fire protection as well. So, that is something that, you know, has always been an option and can continue to be an option.
When would the board like another update or just at the end of project?
You want mid project?
Yeah, maybe
September.
mid project.
September's about
Yeah.
it. That's July,
Yeah.
August, September.
I would, September, October. If you wanna put me on for something for
Beginning of
that.
September would be midway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you wanna put me on for something like that.
Weekend or something, or weekend.
The weekend after Labor Day.
Unless it's your wife's birthday.
No, that's next week. I'm not lying.
No, it's all good. We give sincere.
September, although, wait, what is it, September? That is that is our anniversary. It's not spring yet.
No, that's September.
I'm not lying.
All right, so October?
What's the September one?
We're gonna do half.
No, I'm just kidding. October will be fine.
October.
August would be more.
And we can provide some updates to you guys, like in paper form throughout it too,
Yeah,
obviously.
You know, if,
you know, updates that we send out to the community.
yeah, there you go. Just include the planning and zoning office and those will
And I
find
can
their,
send it to Jared and
those will
Rose.
find their way to the right
Therefore,
hands.
you guys just have it documented of
Yep.
how the things are going, what's being sent out to the homeowners, et cetera, so.
In September, it'd be the 9th.
Yeah, no, that didn't work.
How about August? We were just.
How about August? Would August work for you?
August might. No, I just.
August 12th.
August 12th?
August works.
Let's do August.
Second Monday of the month.
Yeah, and then, like I said, I'll give updates as we go and, to you in writing form, et cetera, and it will come actually from the engineering company. So, as you mentioned, who to reach out to, et
Yeah.
cetera. So I'll be the direct contact
Okay.
for it. But they are they're gonna be on site overseeing the project, and working with them on the exact plans, et cetera. So if there's a change in what we have to do with the pipe, that's on them. It's
Okay.
just us to
So if the
Get that
town has
information.
questions, contact you.
correct.
You'll read,
And
you'll
then
direct.
I'll get the information
Okay.
needed,
Sounds
based
good.
on your questions.
Anything else from the board? Thank you very much. We appreciate your patience.
No, thank you guys.
Happy birthday to your daughter.
Yeah, I know.
That's pretty
You better get
exciting.
home to your lunch.
Yeah. She's probably asleep, but that's all right. But I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you
you,
very
guys.
much. Yeah. Next, under other business, we get the bi-weekly update letters from Bill. Yeah. Any questions on those? I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Everybody's saying
Yeah.
The whole group.
Discussion.
None.
All those in favor?